I mean, you may think it's too little, too late, but are you broadly supportive of what's being done?
Well, yes, but let's be really clear here. This government has been... It took the troops massing on the borders of Ukraine and an invasion for this government to be pulled, dragged, kicking and screaming to bring in the economic crime bill, a bill that it was going to cancel. It had quietly shelved until a few weeks ago in a U-turn last month. And I think that, to hear now Boris Johnson and other Tory ministers stand up and talk about this, so much of what they're now proposing will not tackle the millions that have come in, of Russian money that has come in to British politics. And as I understand it, the two lists that Liz Truss and the government have written and put down, none of those names on there are people who have financed the Conservative Party or put money into politics. I mean, look, you've got a Christmas card from a former Putin politician saying we open doors with Boris Johnson. Look, this is the state of our politics. And frankly, after 10 years of this government, of a Tory administration, to now suddenly be the champions of democracy, frankly, it sucks.
Right.
What can I say? This is wrong.
Think of something to say in terms of why the government really hasn't stepped up to the plate in the way Clive Lewis has said.
Because we didn't understand what was going on. We didn't appreciate the bigger picture here, not just in here, but right across the intelligence. What Russia has been doing, what Putin has been up to, has been planning for the last 10 to 15 years. We have failed to understand where this is going, failed to recognise the money coming into this country. And yes, you're absolutely right, the Conservative Party didn't do their due diligence in working out who was behind this money. We now recognise that that's completely wrong. I do hope my party will make amends and look back at where this money has come from and react to it.
It's more systemic than that. We know that after the pillage of Russia, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, when billions were lifted from the people of Russia, their resources, where were they banked? They were banked in the City of London. That is where the billions, that is why there has been a massive surge in prices of property and so on in London, because there are billions upon billions, estimates of around 1 trillion of the Russian people's resources have found their way into London. And I'm afraid the Conservative Party is glove in hand with much of that. This goes deeper than just a few million going into the Conservative Party. This goes into the very fabric of the City of London. And frankly, I don't think the Conservative Party are able or willing to be able to deal with that.
OK, well, please acknowledge that there are many of us in the party that are uncomfortable about what's happened in the past and are pushing forward for reform to make sure this doesn't happen again. We have a war to consider now. Absolutely, the finances form part of that package. But let's all unite and make sure that we can work together to make sure we defeat Putin.
Do you think those voices should have been louder earlier from you and Tom Tugendhat and others in the Conservative Party?
Well, going back, we did make those noises. We did say that we wanted this legislation in. We did want to understand where this money was coming from, who was absolutely behind it. Right. But like I said, now it's here. I hope Labour will support that legislation and we can move forward.